Hello and welcome again to Violeta English by Reportage. Is it being a genius a recipe for success? Is the genius the man who is envied by everyone? Or is it the rich man, the most desired kind of position in this world? Or is it the brilliant man who is also rich, like it happens with some names in tech industry? Today I would like to talk about a genius. It's something still remarkable nowadays, but it's pretty different from what it used to be somehow. I'm shooting this video in January because here in Romania, where I'm from, the 15th of January is an important date because one of the greatest poets in Romanian literature, and not only in universal literature, Mihai Eminescu, was born on the 15th of January. And it's impossible for someone who was born in Romanian language not to love Mihai Eminescu. His poems are full of melody. The metaphors are so beautiful. Everything is absolutely fascinating. And the poems were even translated in English by some good translators. And I will just give you some examples a bit later. Absolutely remarkable poet. Absolutely remarkable. And I was inspired to talk about him because he is my favorite poet. He's always been. Of course, successful artists are absolutely remarkable people, but he was considered a genius. He didn't only write poems in a unique way and in a way which made him a name in universal literature forever, but he was also a remarkable journalist. He was part of a movement called Junimea, which could be translated like the movement of young people. He wrote very pertinent and strong articles about the political issues of his times, and some of his comments still apply nowadays because, you know, politics has always been and will always be like, we'll have some main features, and he was able to catch that particularity. And he also wrote short stories, but what made him a genius is actually the fact that he had an extraordinary over the normal intellectual capacity. Besides his mastering of language and of rhyme and melodicity in his poems, and the beautiful use of Romanian language and his creativity, so this was his philological side. He was absolutely good at mathematics. He was very documented in the scientific field. He knew physics, mathematics, also astronomy, cosmology. He was able to take some of this information and apply it in his poems. And the poem that I will focus mostly on today is one of his most famous, the most famous actually, poem written by him. It has got 99 stanzas. It's a very long poem. And this poem can be, like the title can be translated, the name of the poem is Luceafărul, and the translation would be the morning star. In this poem, in this particular poem, if you read it, you'll see that because it was translated in English, and you can find it on the internet for sure, the translation. This you will see in this poem that he describes some notions connected to astrology, to astronomy, to astronomy, to cosmology, to mathematics, to physics. It's obvious that he has a large knowledge, a very precise scientific knowledge, and that makes him a genius. He also spoke a few languages, old languages like antique or old Greek and Latin, but also French and German. But also this capacity of covering such diverse fields from philology to physics to astronomy and at very high levels made him absolutely a genius. A genius mind, well, and made him like a name in history. For sure, his life was not a long one. He was born on the 15th of January 1850 and he died in 1889. So he was young when he died, but his life was remarkable and his work also. His death occurred in not very clear circumstances. It is said that he had very serious health problems. There are other theories which say that he was poisoned with mercury because he had some medical problems which implied the treatment with this substance which was popular in those times. And also there are theories which reflect that he was killed, he was hurt, he was hit. There are still discussions and no historical evidence to clarify what happened. It's sure that he had some political enemies in his times. People who didn't agree with the way he presented the political realities in those times. He was very brave and honest, and he said things openly, his opinion regarding politics, and of course he had a lot of enemies. We don't know how much that impacted his safety, his situation, but certainly there were some tensions around him for this reason. I will come back now to his masterpiece Luceafărul or The Morning Star, and you'll see that I had this idea to say the first few stanzas in a night setting. I wasn't able to go out and record outside. It would be much better at nighttime. It would look quite good, but I wasn't able to do that at the moment. But anyway, I wanted to have a night background. I'm also a lover of the night. I love very much nights and stars and celestial bodies. I've always felt like this.
A fost odată ca în povești, a fost ca niciodată, din rude mari împărătești o prea frumoasă fată, și era una la părinți și mândră în toate cele, cum e fecioara între sfinți și luna între stele. Din umbra falnicelor bolți, ia pasul și-l îndreaptă, lângă fereastră, unde în colț luceafărul așteaptă. Privea în zare cum pe mări, răsare și străluce, pe mișcătoarele cărări, corăbii negre duce. Îl vede azi, îl vede mâini, astfel dorința-i gata, iar el, privind de săptămâni, îi cade dragă fata.
Luceafărul is absolutely remarkable. In this poem, he talks about the love of this celestial body, the morning star, for a human being, for a princess. He even wants to give up his immortality in order to be the princess's fiancé and lover. But talking to God, he is not allowed to do that, and he will remain in his realm, in his world, immortal and cold, and detached from human fate, which is mortal and impermanent. And what is remarkable, it's not only this idea, which is very beautiful, but the way his voyage to meet God is described, crossing clusters of stars and galaxies, and the notion of time doesn't exist anymore at a certain point in the universe. So here is obvious that he had like a remarkable knowledge of physics, of astronomy, of every theory which was like present at the time in the scientific field. And it is remarkable because what he says is actually prophetic, because some of the things that he says in this poem regarding space and time, and the fact that in deep space the notion of time is no longer the same that we perceive here. It's something that hadn't been yet discovered at that time, and it was discovered later, much later after he died. And it's remarkable his not only prophetic but his genius mind, who was able to capture that idea and to conclude, after all the knowledge that he had, such theories that were much later discovered with technology and a lot of calculation and a lot of research. Absolutely remarkable. I'm really passionate also about astronomy, and I often listen to documentaries about space and all the discoveries that were made. And reading that part of the Morning Star, Luceafărul, it's obvious that he had these notions. He simply had them because he was a genius. So the condition of the genius is and has always been a difficult one. I will insert a part in which I will read the first stanzas of the poem, and then that part where he describes the voyage of the morning stars in the universe, among the galaxies, to meet God and talk to him about his love for a mortal human being. And you will see that it's absolutely fascinating. The translation that I found is absolutely remarkable. For me, it is the greatest translation in English of Luceafărul. Absolutely remarkable. And you'll see how beautiful it is. In Romanian, it sounds even more beautiful because it was written in Romanian, and he was a master of Romanian language indeed. But this translation is the best of the best. I think God enlightened the mind of the translator to be able to translate in such a way that he captured, he caught somehow the beauty and the genius of the poem and of the poet. In times when fairy tales begin, in times with magic laden, there lived of high and noble kin a most enchanting maiden. She was the only child they raised, of wits and virtues many, as is the Virgin midst the praised, and midst the stars Selene. Beneath a dark, majestic vault, she walks, her steps abating, close to the window where in alt the evening stars awaiting. She gazing at his distant rays that glow and light the ocean, while on the rolling waterways black galleys set in motion. She sees him now, she sees him then, thus ripens her desire from watching over and again. His love for her grows higher. for the genius man, for the genius human being, man or woman, it has always been difficult. Some of the genius people in history ended up in poverty, ended up unknown, unappreciated, just not very much appreciated. There are also happy cases of genius people who were appreciated during their lifetime, but there are not so many. Most of them were not appreciated at their real value during their lifetime, and others even had a tragic fate, and their fame and value rose only after their death. So society is not prepared all the time to accept and to notice the genius of someone. It takes time because a genius mind is not something that many people can understand. The speed of thinking and the capacity is much higher than the habitual one, and that's why people just can't accumulate and assimilate the information just immediately. It takes time. It's a very beautiful and interesting topic, this of the genius. Of course, there are still genius people in the world. Certainly, many of them struggle and are not famous. Some might be famous, but if they keep fighting, they will certainly have great results. This is what I think. In society, it has always been like this. Rich people have been appreciated, famous people, people who have a social status generally. And this leads sometimes to fake values, to fake models, to bad models for the young generation. But this is the world, and it has always been. That's why I think that from time to time, and as often as possible, we should bring to the light and in the spotlight and into the attention of people, remarkable people like Mihai Eminescu, because the young generation needs models, and genius people, remarkable people can be a good model for a moral life, for moral values, which will bring a lot of good things into life, and even stability into one's life. This was my aim, to come up with such a remarkable personality from which young people have a lot to learn from. And with this, until the next video, I wish you to have a great day. Goodbye.